All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It is 4 o'clock, so I'm going to call this regular meeting of the Bethel Public Utilities Commission to order for Monday, October 18th, 2021. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
America, and to the republic
one nation,
under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I want to officially welcome Brad as our comptroller. This is his first full meeting as comptroller with the Public Utilities Commission. So welcome, Brad, and thank you for all your fine work. Wish you the best.
Thank you.
I think the commission treats you pretty well, so I think you're pretty good.
You're just buttering me up for later in the year, aren't you? It's still early in the year.
You'll pay for it, yeah.
It's still early in the meeting.
Yeah, I know. Is there anybody from the public on with us tonight? Kath? Okay. Any late breaking correspondence? Okay. All right. Before we move on, I have a question, and I'm gonna be a little out of order here in terms of Robert's rules, because I want to ask your opinion. Tom, you and I didn't have a chance to talk about it today, but you know the issue with the fire hydrant out front.
Okay.
Do we have a cost on moving that?
No, Kelly, did Bob get back to you? Probably not.
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, just so you know what I'm talking about, the water main line that goes across the front of the municipal center is in a different position than the water line that is being decommissioned. And just as a result, just by kind of like dumb luck, where the joints came together, where you would normally put a fire hydrant, connect the two ends in, just happens to be right in front of the little sculpture garden where the flagpoles are. It's not right up next to it, but we have had a few citizens call up and say, gee, what the heck, you ruined the line of sight. Okay, so 2 calls, it's not that big a deal, but Tom and I did talk about the possibility of moving it while the crew was still mobilized. But there's some other considerations too, such as the construction across the street might be able to have a fire hydrant anyhow, which might negate the need to have one there on that side. But it's premature. Tom and I should have asked Tom about it before the meeting started. So we'll just let that go for now because we don't have any info. So next item on the agenda is meeting format. We were scheduled to talk about this. Most of the other boards and commissions have gone to hybrid meetings where they meet in person. But I would like to, and then also allow the public to zoom in electronically should they wish to. So I would like to get your opinion on that with my colleagues and see how you want to proceed starting up next month. Continue with all remote format or go back to in person with electronic input from outside. So I'll leave the floor open for comments. Yeah, Rich, go ahead.
I'd like to meet in person with the electronic for anybody who wants to join in. It'd be a hybrid like we do the selectmen's.
Yes, correct.
So if a member can't come, he can go on
Correct. Yep.
Zoom.
Yeah, the ability to participate remotely would apply to the public and to any members. So,
yeah.
As long as we got, I guess at least one of us in the meeting, it would work.
Well, I mean, we spoke about that a few months ago before the quote Delta variant came through. And I
Yeah,
agree with Rich. I think, being in person with electronic participation is the way to go.
okay. All right, unless there's any objection, then we will plan, Kath, for our next month, or next meetings. Yeah, that would be next month. We'll go back to hybrid. All right, so thank you for that. Next order of business then is minutes, and we need to accept the meeting minutes from the regular meeting of September 20th. I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Motion to approve.
All right, is there a second? Did somebody raise a hand? I missed that.
I wasn't there.
All right, well, I'll second those. Any comments or corrections on those? And hearing none, I'll try your minds. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And then one abstention from Rich.
No, I have 2 abstentions.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Peter. 2 abstentions. Great. All right, next order of business is financial report. I shall turn the floor over to Brad.
All right, so I sent out the financial report. It's not a billing month, so the revenue is practically the same. So obviously the surplus position will go down a lot, and we'll see that jump back up when we bill again. The only thing that is remotely out of sorts this early is under sewer on page 9. Meter maintenance, the actual for the year is 18,000. The budget was 15. Tom and I looked at this. These are sewer only meters that we needed to order. And we just needed to restock, and we didn't know at budget time that we needed these. So it's the actual's at 18,000. The budget's at 15. But other than that, everything else looks like it's in line with where it should be.
Sorry, Brad, where was that?
It's page 9. So if you look like 3/4 of the way down, meter maintenance for sewer,
Oh, okay.
the budget is 15. The actual is $18,002.59. So it's only over budget by $3,000, but since it's so early in the year, it's the only thing that's out of whack. And since that was there were some sewer only ones, I guess usually the meters are split between water and sewer. Those weren't. So that's why sewer's out of whack, but not water.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question about terminology.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see it all the time and I wonder what it means. Hold on a second. I'm sorry I'm late. I was a little late getting here. I could find it here. This was under the water portion. And I'm looking at the actual muni sheets. It says total intergovernmental revenue, $185,000. What is that?
What page is that on, Marty?
He's looking at page 5.
Page 5, yep.
Let me pull it up. I think it was a state grant, but let me pull it up for you. Yeah, so that's the receipt of the funds for those state loans.
Yeah,
So I guess when Tom requests the money on the state loans, that's the state sending us the money, and so far we received $185,000.
So is that the drinking water revolving fund?
Yes.
Yeah, those projects are a loan grant. So basically, when I get the contractor bills, I submit those to the state for reimbursement. They pay us back. And then at the end of the project, when we close on the loan, we basically then have a loan for a portion of it. And then, but we get the 100% as a check from the state. And then at the end, part of it went towards a grant and then part of it goes towards the loan.
On page 1 of the summary, before you get to the munis reports, Bob had it under the anticipated DWSRF grants. For next month, I'll move it up to the line so it's clear. I'm not sure why it was on that line, and it didn't change, so I didn't move it.
and the other question I had was right below it. Interest, well, it says total use of money. I don't, it's $98,690, it looks like.
So then that's just a balancing entry for the budget. So when Tom and Bob work up the budget, the expenses were less than the anticipated revenue. So that's the transfer out to pay down the water loans. it's not like with the general fund where you base your mill rate calculation to balance the
Right.
budget. So there is a transfer out for water for this year.
Okay. That's all I had.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll put a motion on the floor that we accept the financial report. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Rich. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to invoices, and to start us off, I'll put a motion on the floor. We have three invoices totaling $325,363.38. So I'll make a motion that we approve that invoice request dated October 18th, 2021.
Matt, I do have one correction on that. I don't know if you want me to address that now before you finish your motion.
Well, let me get a second.
Very good.
Anybody want to second that for me?
Second.
All right, second by Dino. All right, go ahead, Tom. What's that?
Okay, the Guerrera Construction, I got a corrected invoice from them. It's slightly less. I can spell out the corrected numbers here. The Guerrera invoice should be $282,949.38. That would make their percentage 41.98 of the job. And now the new total is $324,639.01.
All right, I'll adjust my motion to reflect both of those numbers. Dino, you still second?
Sure.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, any questions for Tom on these invoices? And hearing none, I'll try your minds. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, that motion carries. Nothing under new business today, so I'll turn the floor over to Tom for director's report.
Okay, just one quick item on this. I just wanted to continue with a discussion or an update rather. Our water rate study. I've had some conversations and emails with our consultant. Now that Brad's on board as our comptroller, I've copied him on some of those to get him familiar with what we're doing. I had provided a bunch of more up-to-date information as far as what our more recent couple of years revenue as well as expenses have been. So he's still on track. He's getting pretty close to being able to put that model together. And I expect we'll see something here in the next meeting or so that we're on track for doing proposing a rate increase. That's all I had on director's report.
All right, any questions for Tom? And hearing none, we'll move on to PUC capital project. And of course, the big topic today is water mains.
Yes, before I go there, I'm not sure if Marius is on the call. Kath,
Yeah.
is anybody waiting to get in?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Hello,
hey
everyone.
Marius. I asked Marius to get on the call and give us more of an update on the Bergstrom well. We're basically at the 60% design phase. And I thought, we had a pretty good meeting with him and some of his staff. And he gave us an update on that. And I thought this is an opportune time to for the commission to hear a little bit more about where we're at with the project.
Hi, Marius, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. It's nice to see everyone. Again, it'd be nice to see everyone in person, but it's good on TV too, computer screen, so. Okay, so let me just begin. So just to let you know where the process stands, we essentially completed our, 30% design and 60% design for the Bergstrom well, a water treatment plan. We submitted, a set of drawings to Tom and his staff. And then since then, we had a workshop meeting to review our submittal, 60% design. Those meetings took place on October 4th and 5th. So I just want to give you a quick overview where we stand right now, with the site plan and some layouts of the building and things like that. So let me share my screen. I think, Kathy, you might have to let me be the control so I can share my screen. Okay, here we are. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes,
Okay, so essentially, this is just an overview, just to remind everyone where the project location is located. So here's Plum Trees Road on the bottom here. This is the entrance to the existing, Parks and Recreational building, which is on the left. So this is the existing gravel road that leads you basically to the back of the site. So there's a soccer field that you go by, and there's a baseball field that you go by. So essentially, the water treatment plant site is located in the back of the site. Let me just zoom in quickly here. So that's the, I'll try to zoom in so you can see it better. So this is kind of the back of the site. Well number one, the new Berkshire well, is located. It's located. Let me just see if I can trace it back here. It's hard to see on this plan here.
yeah, you're closer to it, right around in there.
Yeah, right in this area, that's where the well is located. So we have basically pipe that connects to the building. So this is the existing water treatment facility. It's roughly 77 feet long by 61 feet wide. And then, based on previous comments from the commission, I think our original design had the chemical feed system located, in the back of the building. And also we had a gravel drive around gravel path in the back of the building. So based on those comments, we have modified our design and we removed the gravel drive in the back of the building. And we've located the chemical feed stations and all the chemical rooms in the front of the building. I'm going to zoom in a bit more here so you can see it better. So essentially, as you can see, we are proposing some new gravel, in front of the building here. And there's going to be a chain link fence all around the site, which you can see over here. It's going to surround the entire, building. We're going to have a backwash source tank on the left over here. So this essentially is going to serve to provide backwash water for the filters. On the other side of the site, we're going to have the backwash residual tank, 40,000 gallon tank. So after you backwash your tanks, that's where the backwash water is going to go. And eventually it's going to settle there. And some of the water is going to get recycled back to the treatment plant. And some of the water is going to be pumped out to the existing sanitary sewer system. So the existing fence is basically going to connect to the corners over here. So we're not going to have any fence from the building. It's basically going to connect to the building corners on each side. On each side of the building, we're going to provide a manual slide gate. So you can actually access, go inside the compound and, you can access the building, and also you can access the, all the tankage around and also the well. That's kind of, we're also going to have a generator that's going to be located in the back of the building here on this bed over here. And we're going to have two propane tanks, basically for heating and ventilating of the existing treatment plant building. And then, we're going to have a discharge main that's going to connect. So this is the discharge main, 16-inch water main that's going to discharge finished water main. It will discharge to the, existing water line on Plum Trees Road. And then we're going to have a 3-inch force main that's going to go out to the existing manhole on Plum Trees Road. Basically, that's going to take all your, floor drains, any water from the lab, and also is going to take the residual, the 10% solids, residual solids from this backwash tank after they have a chance to accumulate on the bottom of that tank. So that's kind of a quick overview of the site plan. And, based on the latest requirements, we'll be designing, the treatment plant building above the 500 flood elevation, which meets the current requirements by the state DPH. And, please feel free to ask any questions as I'm going through it, Rich or Paul, anybody else.
Yeah, Rich has.
Meredith, what,
Go ahead, Rich.
what's the existing elevation there? How high do you have to raise the building up?
But the existing elevations are, let me just go back here. They're not really, we're not really raising it that much, but they're like about 290, 297, 298, 299. So it varies about by 1 foot, maybe 1.5 feet. Some places we have to raise it by 2 feet. So it's not really a significant, change in elevation. And we need to do that to meet the existing regulations to be able to get the funding from the state. It used to be 100 flood elevation, but they've since revised it to 500.
Okay,
Marius, I think that topo line, like just to the left of the building, looks to be 298.
Yep.
And that circle within the building looks to be elevation 300.
300, yeah. So it's really not a lot, Rich. It's very minimal raise in elevation.
Okay, Dino, did you have a question too?
No, well, for right now, what I want to know, Tom, was if you had, hard copies of this in the office that I could take a peek at.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Well, I have it electronically, but I can print out, I can print out some sheets for you, Dino, if that's easier for you.
let me come down and take a look and then we'll decide from there.
Yeah, by all means.
It's about 85 sheets that Tom has, so it's a lot of drawings.
When you come down, we'll spend some time. I'll flip through. I'll kind of be able to pick off which ones you'd be probably most interested in.
Okay.
Yeah, Rich, go ahead.
well, it's the same thing. I don't know, can you just make up some sheets for the members?
Yes,
Just a quick question. Is that driveway paved all the way to the road?
No, 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 it's all gravel. We're not gonna pave anything all the way to the road. We're just gonna, it's gonna be gravel, and my plan is to meet with them on site and really do minimum, fixes, really not put a lot of gravel out there.
All right.
Was there any more consideration of putting a bathroom in that building?
Bathroom,
Or
we're gonna
was-
switch over.
Was there a
the
problem with the mixing the sanitary with the down there?
Me switch over here to the, so this is the floor plan. So this is gonna be a single story building. So this is the front of the building here. And you can see in this corner on the lab, those are the chemical rooms. So we have 3 chemicals: potassium hydroxide, sodium hypochlorite, and phosphate. And, we have a laboratory over here that's gonna have a, sink and everything else.
well,
And-
it really, Marius, I would really call it's an office with a small, area where the guys can run a couple of tests. So don't consider it a full,
Yeah.
true laboratory.
Right. It's a small area with the sink that guys could just run some, chemical tests. So you can see, we actually put a laboratory here, Rich, in this corner here. So there's gonna be a laboratory with a single
Okay.
toilet that people could use.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then, the main area of the building is really the filter room, which you can see in the middle over here. So that's where you see the filters here. And then, in the other part of the building, it's the backwash pumps, which obviously, with take water from the backwash source tank, backwash the tanks. And then, we have the, and then the backwash water will go to those backwash water tanks outside the building. And then we also have recycle pumps that you're going to be able to recycle some of the backwash water back to the head of the plant. We have an electrical room, and in the electrical room, we made provisions, for if there's going to be a backup well in the future, because right now there's only 1 well on site. But we made provisions if there's going to be a future backup well, similar to what you have in Maple Avenue. We have enough room for, the additional electrical equipment and the VFD to provide for that backup well. If it's ever needed in the future, then you can basically use either the existing well, or you can use the backup well if you needed to service the other well. So there was going to be redundancy built in all the system for the backup well in the future. We also have a backup well future connection. So we have a T. If that backup well is going to be installed in the future, then we have a ways to connecting that to the system. And all you're going to have to do is just turn it on and run it similarly to what you have at the Maple Avenue well field.
Marius, just out of curiosity, right here at this laboratory, you said minimal testing. What are you going to be testing? What, potassium and phosphate or sodium hypochlorite only?
I mean, most of this system is going to be online. So, what we really care about is turbidity. Make sure that the filters are working properly. You can get an inline analyzer for turbidity, which we're going to have one on the finished water. But also, if you wanted to measure turbidity coming out of the filters, make sure the filters are working properly. So it's not really going to be extensive, chemical testing. Ed might want to just grab samples once in a while to confirm, what the clean residuals are. Just to verify that, all the systems are working properly. So it's not going to be an extensive testing. I mean,
Where I was
Okay. Marty, do you have a question? You're muted. Okay, no question. All right.
Is
I
Paul
don't-
still
I-
talking? I thought Paul was still going and he's muted.
I didn't hear Paul. Something happened to Paul's microphone.
Paul, you were muted. I don't know if you were finished.
Still muted, Paul.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
now we can.
My question to Marius was, is there any special equipment that we have to provide for that lab?
Oh, really? It's all, you already have all the equipment, you're already using this equipment at, the Maple Avenue well, you're already using it at, the Chestnut Ridge Water Treatment Plant. There's no special equipment for the lab, it's just a sink, and, we're gonna provide you with the raw and finished water, plumbing, so Ed could take the samples. But, often for this type of facility, a small lab with a sink, it's required by the state, because again, you wanna verify all the instruments online, and you're gonna have analyzers online, but you wanna verify those to make sure they're working properly, and, you wanna be able to take grab samples as needed. And Tom, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, there's a sink, a counter, the desks for the operators are going to be in there. The computer is going to be in there for the SCADA system. But you do want to grab samples occasionally. You don't necessarily have an online analyzer for iron and manganese. So a lot of times what you want to do is grab a sample so you can see what the iron going onto the filter is, and then you want to be able to check what the iron and manganese coming off the filter is. So it'd be just a series of grab samples that the guys might need to do, and just basically doing physicals.
How do you get into that room?
So let me go to the architectural, because we've changed.
You know,
it here, so-
we just spend a lot of time bouncing those rooms around, so.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a door. There's gonna
On
be a
that
door
drawing,
here.
it got left off, I guess.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a door over here to the office, and there's a bathroom right here, so, yeah.
But no direct access from outside to the room?
Access from the outside, that's correct. Yeah.
That's the teleportation room,
So it's gonna be, there's gonna be a door. I think we're still working on a door. It's probably gonna be in this corner, because we just had that meeting, so we revised it based on the new room size.
Yeah, I don't know if you move those water analyzers, and on this particular drawing, they didn't quite get moved.
Yeah, one of the comments that Tom had, the phosphate room before was much smaller, I guess, and, so we kind of modified the size of the room, so we're still working on tweaking the door locations and everything else, so.
So we're at 60% now. What's the time frame on this, Marius?
So the time frame is, right now, we're going from 60 to 90%. Again, our goal is to try to get a design, again, there's gonna be reviews. So by end of this month, we're hoping to have a meeting with Town of Bethel Planning, Zoning, and Wetlands to start getting ready for permit submittals, and, we'd like to have a pre-application meeting. Beth from Planning and Zoning is already aware of this project, but we want to meet, since we have more developed plans now, so we're gonna be meeting with her. And, maybe this will require just administrative approval. We don't know what she's gonna wanna do for the process. And, so our goal is to really try to get a design, by, January, February next year. Again, DPH is gonna have to approve this project. They're gonna probably take at least 30 days for their review. So, we're basically looking to get it ready for bidding, sometime in the latest, March or April of next year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Hey, Marius, just so you know, if you guys hear that strange popping noise, that interference on his, Marius, you might want to check your equipment. We could hear you okay, but there was some strange interference. And if you watch our video after Kathy gets it posted in the next day or so, you can see what I mean, but you might want to, I don't know, maybe it's a microphone feed or something.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, I'll make sure I watch it again.
Okay, moving on to utility supervisor, Kelly.
Yes, sir. Couple things. This past month, we had some leaks
We had a service leak at 58 Greenwood. We had a service leak at Grassy Plains at South Street, right at the light. We had a third leak at 7 Oxford Street. They finally renewed it. The homeowner came in and renewed it, so that's taken care of. And we had a service leak at 68 Milwaukee. Last week, or actually 2 weeks ago, we had a main break at Milwaukee at Midway. About a 2-foot piece of transite pipe blew out right at the intersection there. So that got taken care of. On the sewer side, we replaced the check valve on pump number 1 down at Paul Street. We're still waiting on another one for pump number 3. That one had to be machined to fit in there. So that's still on order. I really don't know what the holdup is. It's like everything. They promise you, and it hasn't come in yet. The end of this month, as of the 29th, Rick Benzing will be retiring from the utility department. We've got applications out now. There's not that many applications, but Phyllis is going to close out the application process tomorrow, and then we'll be doing a couple interviews. As for the hydrants, I've been in contact with Tinker, and he said as soon as things slow up, he's with everything going on with the new main work. We've been working on all the backflow prevention. We hope to have that done by the middle of November, hopefully. We've got basically Pleasant is done. It's not tied in yet, but all the services are done, and that's completed. Fleetwood, the water main is tied in on one side. It's not on the other side yet. But we've got 4 of, I think there's 12 services on Fleetwood Park. 4 of them just got finished up today. As you know, School Street is done. We had to add a valve into School Street at the island there. Other than that, it's going good. And Rector, I would say Rector's probably got maybe about 300 more feet to go. But the thing is, they're not tied in. They're just one-way feeds. But they will get back in there and as soon as they can. But other than that, the main work's going real good. Very happy with this crew. This main crew is excellent. They're doing a great job backfilling and restoration of the road. Service work is going along as good too. So other than that, we're in pretty good shape.
Okay, great. Any questions for Kelly?
Hey,
Yeah,
Kelly,
Kelly.
Yeah, Rich.
Pete, go ahead. You go first, then I'll go to Rich.
Yeah. What happened up on Governor's Lane? We had to use the tanker for backup. What's going on up there?
Trying to think what we had happen up there. Oh, we had that considered a non-hydrant district because we were having a problem with one of the fire pumps going on. So until we got that sorted out, I just told Chris, make sure it's considered a non-hydrated area. We did that before when we were working on the plant, but we're having an issue with one of the pumps coming on fast enough. So we just didn't want to get caught. So we took it from there.
No, I don't have a problem with that. I was just wondering, if it was an electronic device bad on the controller?
It seems to be electronic. We had some issues with the system for doing the domestic water. And when we had to take it fast enough. So we're trying to get a hold of, we're in the process of getting a hold of Aaron Associates. They are the instrumentation because the pumps are coming on, they're just not ramping up fast enough. So we're in, like I say, we're in connection with all the instrumentation, and we're trying to get that sorted.
Is it a different type of controller you need, or is it the controller that you had not proficient enough? You have to get a different one?
I don't think it's a different one. I just talking to each other. But like I say, it's only on the fire pumps. It's not on the domestic side. But we need Aaron's to get into the, into the system and see what they can find. But like I say, that just is a precaution to have the tankers on standby.
Oh, no, I don't have a problem with the tanker. I just understand why the tanker was there. I didn't understand it was a problem with the fire pump. That's all. That's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
Do you think Marion has to check out that controller to get a different type of controller if he can't find out what's going on with it? Because there should be a short delay on that, right?
It should be. I'm set to 45 seconds when to throw the pumps on and start building pressure. Because we can go from a 4-foot lob out of the last hydrant on the system to blowing it right across the street when those fire pumps come on. And then, like I said, they're just not coming out fast enough.
Right.
Yeah, we have the vendor coming this week. So we're gonna run through the controls and we're gonna test it out. So hopefully he'll see or find what the issue was and get it corrected, and then we should be back to normal.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him correcting. I just have a problem with that controller is going to cause a problem later on. If this is the first issue.
Yeah, well, until he gets in there to look at it and test them out and test the controls out to see what's what, then we'll have an idea of what's happening. And maybe we need to make an adjustment with how long, the pressure drops before the pump comes on. Maybe we have to have it coming on a little sooner. So we'll kind of work with the controls and just try to figure that out as we go.
Right. All right,
It's one of
thank you.
those things where you don't normally use that a lot. Those fire pumps kind of sit there and they don't run frequently because we're not in a fire situation frequently.
No, because the jockey pumps are maintaining the pressure in the line. I understand that, but there's a certain, if it was a commercial building, there's a certain amount of seconds that has to kick on when the pressure drops like that. I understand it's a little different situation, but the concern is the 15, 20 seconds, it should be a shorter duration.
Mhm.
All right.
Rich, did you have a question?
Yeah, Kelly, what was the leak on Grassy Plain Street? Was that old main or was that a service?
Time, Rich. What was the address? I'm sorry.
Well, the leak that was on South Street on the corner of South and 50.
Yeah,
53.
South 53. Yeah, you know what that was? That it came, it went away, it came back again after the water table changed. I got around to it, and it was a small 3/4 inch tap that had a 1/2 inch nipple in it, and the nipple was worn, and that's what it was that whole time.
But
it was-
what my question was that the old main that we don't know where it goes down Grassy Plain Street?
Correct. That's
All right, so we know at that point it's 4 right there.
Actually, Rich, it's 4. It's 4 from by the Sycamore. There's a 4 and an 8 at Sycamore. The two of them go down side by side. When you get to Beach Street, you got an 8 and a 4 that are feeding to about, I think it's about Melillo. And after that, it's all 4 Cherry Lane. We have an idea where it is. We can trace it, but there's a crossover valve in there. Your brother, when I first got here, I had asked him about it. He said that time he never knew where it was either. But there's some. It's just like the one that's in Fleetwood that we cut and capped on both sides.
Okay. All right. And how about my pressure tank up on where the water tank is? On
Yeah, nothing yet, Rich.
nothing yet.
Yeah, Long Meadow.
Long Meadow.
Yeah,
Can we
nothing yet.
hire a plumber to go do it? All right. And I heard you about the hydrants. You're working on the hydrants.
Yeah, Tinker, when he's all backed up, but I'm gonna get him in there. We talked already, me and Dave.
All right. I have a question for Marty. I don't know if you want me to ask it now, Matt, or later.
No, go ahead.
Marty, did we ever get any resolution on the sewer laterals for that new development that Marco did on Walnut Hill Road there?
No, in fact, it's funny because it's funny you should bring that up. I have to contact Peter Olson, who represents them on a couple of things. That's one of the things, and I contacted Tom 3 or 4 weeks ago to try to meet with Peter Olson to go over that there. And what happened was Peter kind of dropped off the map. So I got to contact him about that because there's another matter I got to contact too, but that's on my list with him because he wanted to sit down and meet.
I think the building department has the building department issued COs on those houses.
I have no idea. I haven't been presented with anything other than what Peter said that they've got to figure out what is what. And other than that, I don't know anything. Nobody's from the building department has contacted me. I haven't been told if they've got COs or not. I have no idea. I would assume they do. The buildings are up. It looks like people moved.
People are living in them.
Yeah. But no, that's one of the things that I have to get together with Tom and Peter, and we just, some of it's my fault, some of it's Peter's fault. None of it's Tom's fault. He was ready to meet right away.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank
Marty.
you.
All right, anything else?
And one other question, did we ever get the as-built on Chestnut Street? The Marco subdivision, did we get as-built on that?
We asked,
I don't remember. I honestly don't. I'll have to check and see. I know
I think it's a good,
we had
I
all
think it's
the-
a good idea. I think it's a good idea to check. I mean, the whole thing's it's all been sold out. We don't know if we got the as-built.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any as-built, Pete. We'll have to follow up on that.
Well, there should be a certain amount of time you should be able to get them before the COs are issued. At least to hold the contractor accountable to get them. That thing's been closed out for quite a while. We haven't got as-built yet?
We might, we'll check with building department too, and see.
Well, the building department don't look for the as-built. That's strictly public utilities. The building department only gets a CFO on the plow plan and stuff like that, but they have nothing to do with the as-built as far as the water and sewer goes.
I'll look
That's up to public utilities.
Yeah, I'll have to look up Steve to find out if he did submit them. I don't think he did.
Well, I think there should be some way of controlling that.
There is. We'll
All right.
follow up with them, Pete. We'll make sure we get them.
Yep, we'll do. Okay, anything else? And hearing none, I shall entertain a motion to adjourn.
We'll move.
Second.
Second by Rich. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.